calling.
Hey groupies, welcome back to another episode of the Group Chat Calling podcast. I'm here with my co-hosts, Tanasia Janana, Amani Ko, and Winter Jewel. And today we are actually live on TikTok, recording our first live episode, which is so exciting.
Yay, it is so exciting.
First time. So we've been talking about this for a while, so I'm really excited that we're doing it. I'm happy to see a lot of our girls pulling up on each of our platforms. If you're not already following us, be sure to follow each and every one of us on our social media platforms so you can stay tuned when we do our next live episode. So today's topic is control versus standards within a relationship. So we've been talking a little bit about this lately within the past week within ourselves and our family. So we thought it would be a good idea to bring it up to the podcast because it was such a good topic and it kept our conversation going and laughing. So first and foremost, let's just get started with our normal question. How was all of your day? What were you up to? How was work? All that.
My day today actually was hectic. I had a lot of running around to do, but earlier when we were on our FaceTime call, our real FaceTime call, I said I wasn't going to complain anymore today, so I'm just going to leave it at that, and I'm just going to say that my day was hectic. Nonetheless, we're here, we made it, wrapping the day up now.
My day was, I feel like it wasn't too bad. I had to put in a wrist connect today. I had to put in 2 actually, if you know, healthcare stuff. But yeah, other than that, it was good.
The day date as they normally do. But no, it ended off really, really lovely. We ended up going to the beach. And y'all know me, I love a good beach session. So after that, I was straight. Love it,
Miss
girl.
the beach.
So, I know you do.
Oh yeah,
that was like the worst part of being in the South.
A good beach day.
It was just so windy, but it was nice.
Yeah, like I meant like the playground and stuff. Or something like that. Yeah, for sure. Winnie's still off mute, so I thought you were going to keep talking.
It did say she was still off mute, but we couldn't hear her anymore, so I don't know what happened.
So I did search up a few questions that we can kind of break the ice with regarding our topic. I'm glad everyone had a decent day, even though the day did date. I will tell you, yesterday, Monday'd for sure. So we were supposed to actually record yesterday, and we didn't because it just Monday'd and there was a lot going on. But we made it. We're on our second day. We do pre-film or pre-record a lot of our episodes. So most of the time we get this done prior and then you hear it kind of later on. Okay. So a question that we can kind of start with. So when I was looking up healthy boundaries and things like that when it comes to communicating your standards with your partner, it was kind of broke up into a few different categories. So it was your behavior, your partner's behavior, and then your relationship as a unit. So some things where we can kind of self-reflect first. A question that I have is when you are kind of bothered by something or in a mood, do you typically isolate from your partner, isolate from their friends and family as well? Or do you keep in contact with family when you're going through it and keep pushing on like nothing's really happening? What's the tea?
I feel like I can only push on like that thing's really happening when it comes down to a family event. Like I feel like when I'm at a family event, I forget everything that's going on in my life. Like I'm having the best time of my life. Like that's how you know we is really family oriented because we really just take the horrible stuff, the stressful parts that's happening in our life away just for a few seconds. It's like my family is a drug. A good one. Period.
Facts, 100%. Definitely agree with that. The family is a drug part to an extent, because that sounds crazy. But
No facts.
To know me is to know that I isolate for everything and anything. So I'm 100% isolating. Like that's just, I have to process things in my own time, in my own way. I can't do the excess outside noise. It's just not how I roll. So I'm isolating, I'm processing. But to Amani's point, definitely when it comes to family events, that's kind of when I can flip the switch a little bit, but I'm still isolating from him. I need a minute.
I'm crying. Yeah, no, I think those are all valid points. I think for me, it depends. It's situational. It depends on what are we into it about, and like how bad was the disagreement before, before we got into the function. Like, I don't know. That it just really depends. It's situational. If it's something that's light enough that I could just brush off, then it's like, okay, it is what it is. Keep it moving. If it's something that is just like, I kind of want to tussle. Like if I believed in DV, it would be a DV situation. Then I may not be able to brush it off as easily when we get to the function. You know what I mean? Makes sense? Picking up what I'm putting down?
Not if I believe in DV, but I feel you. It definitely is situational.
DV is crazy.
But DV is crazy.
Okay, so since this is our live episode, not to cut you off, Deke, but we do have a question from somebody.
No, that's fine. Pull it in.
So this
Make
question
it easy for me.
Is from one of my viewers, Summer, and she wanted to know.
Hey, Summer. Thanks for asking a question.
Right. She said, how do you ladies handle balancing work and then coming home and still having time from your partner? Just kind of balancing that feeling of, feeling tired, you're just not in the mood, but it's not his fault, that whole type of thing.
That's a good question. Because it honestly depends on the day. Like if I'm being very frank, it 100% depends on the day. Like there's some days where work is stressing me out and the only thing that I want is to see Big. Like for those of you who don't know, my man, a lot of people call him Big or Mr. Big. So when I say Big, I'm referring to him. But so there's some days when I'm stressed out at work or life or the grocery store, and the only thing that I want is to come home and vent to him. Then there's other days where I'm stressed out and I come home and he's asking me 11,000 questions and I don't have it. But I think honestly, it's communication, because I'm good for saying I can't do it today. I'm so overstimulated, babe. I just need to I need nothing. Like I need for you to tap in, tag in, do whatever you got to do because I need to tap out. Like I can no longer function. And he's very receptive of that because he also does the same thing to where he has days where it's just too much. And he'll come home and say, I'm overstimulated. Like I got to tap out. So it's communication is everything.
Yeah, I agree with that. That would be basically my same response is hopefully in your partnership, there's just a mutual understanding and respect that at the end of the day, you are still individuals. Although you are trying to build something together, you still are going to have your human, your own ups and downs, your own emotions. Today, you may come home and be on top of the world. Tomorrow, you may come home and just want to lay down, close your eyes and not say nothing to nobody. So I think it's just important to kind of have that mutual understanding and respect for each other and, still living your own lives while still living a life together. She said, that's so true. Thank you. And then Ma had said in response to what we were talking about earlier, and it kind of deals with this too, isolation is needed, but too much isolation is bad because an idle mind isn't good.
I 100% agree. That is absolutely not wrong.
I agree with that.
And I can attest that firsthand.
That was definitely up there for sure. For sure. But for me, I guess I'm the outsider. I'm the black sheep of the group because I'm the only single one, apparently. So I don't
Not
go
apparently.
home. I don't go home to a man. I go home to my parents. And girl, I can't sometimes.
I'm weak.
See, that's different.
My sister
That's different.
It's a whole different like scenario. Like it's a whole like switcheroo.
My sister friend in the comments, Carrie said, "Girl, me too."
My mom said, "Slow down on my sister."
Oh. No, but I feel like, I don't know, like depending on what day I have at work, I just feel like sometimes I just want to go home and then go to my room and just not talk. Or I can be socializing, but I just don't want to talk about certain things that I know that I'm going to be asked. So I just try to avoid that and just go to my room and do what I got to do. Or take a nap, because most of the time after work, I'm thinking about taking a nap. So that'd be my first thought. But sometimes it'd be like that when you getting off work, it's like that last hour. You like, I can't wait to go home to take a nap. And then you riding home. When you get home, you're not tired no more. Like, what's that about?
I'm not a napper, so I can't relate.
I'm a napper, girl.
I know, all of y'all are. And I'm very jealous.
I'm not a napper. It catches me in a season, but that's not me. I'd be up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you, Amani. I love a nap, and it does frustrate me when I've been tired all day and I come home and then all of a sudden I can't close my eyes for 2 seconds and I'm just tossing and turning, leaning into bed. At that point, then I just get up and start doing more work. And one of our viewers said, "Hi, ladies," and her name is Michaela.
Hi, Michaela.
Hey, Michaela.
Yes, and Denasia also said hi, and so did Tanisha, because they're all joining my live.
Hi.
Hey, Nasia. Hey, Tanisha.
Welcome to the chat.
Right. Jody says, "I wish I had time to nap."
I bet you do, Jody.
Yeah,
You be busy.
I bet you do. I bet you do, sis. I bet.
So those that just joined, I wanted to refresh and say that today's episode is a conversation regarding control versus standards in a relationship. Whether things are getting, things start to get a little too far in your relationship, where your partner may try to control you compared to having standards and boundaries that they would like to see in their partner. So that stems from our conversation. Please ask any questions that you may want, because I will definitely ask the girls. So be sure to ask away. Okay. Do we have any more questions from our viewers on your ends?
Let me scroll. I don't think so. But another viewer named Deja said, "Hey." So everybody say, "Hey, Deja."
Hey, Deja.
Hey, Deja. And my mom said, "Hey, divas."
Hey,
Titi. Oh my goodness.
You know what
I have a comment here.
Okay, what's your comment?
I think, D, every time you ask a question you want them to answer, I think you should write it in the comments, and you pin it, so you don't have to keep repeating it. It would just be pinned at the bottom, so the moment they hop on the live, they'll be able to see it.
Oh, fancy.
Yes. And by the way, you guys can swipe
left.
left.
I don't know how to do this live stuff.
You guys can swipe left to see all the comments without like reading it up and down.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so much easier.
That I do know.
Yeah.
Oh,
just so you know.
Okay. Wendy says she had a comment. What's your comment?
So Jennifer says, "Due to the nature of my job, I have a prescription for 45 minutes of unpacking my daily baggage. Not for nothing. I think that's something everybody should adopt.
I like that.
Come straight home, let it all go,
and
then we wipe our hands clean. Move on."
I like that.
That's a good one.
That's that's definitely very healthy.
That's healthy, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I feel like that's
Wait,
healthy.
Can you say the beginning part again of that?
Due to the nature of my job, I have a prescription for 45 minutes of unpacking my daily baggage.
Okay.
I like that. I think the only thing that I can't let go of is when I go back to work and I still got to deal with the problem I was dealing with yesterday.
Oh, ma'am.
Literally.
Like I can't just let it go because
y'all didn't fix this yet.
Okay.
That's actually really funny.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
So my mom actually said she sits in her car for 45 minutes, and we've talked about sitting in your car.
Yes.
That is kind of a good, sometimes you do need a good sit in your car for a good amount of time before you go inside. Yeah. So that's valid.
Always.
Mom, you actually be sitting in your car for more like an hour and a half.
Don't do my aunt.
Not too much.
I'm gonna let you have the
not
45 minutes. No, because one time we were on FaceTime, both sitting in our cars for like a good hour. On the phone with each other, an hour and a half.
Oh, this is a good one.
She said facts.
My mother did the same thing. I call her. After an hour, I say, "Are you okay?"
And Tanisha said definitely more than 45 minutes, like for sure.
Y'all doing too much.
Not doing too much.
Not y'all ganging up on her.
We have a good question here.
Okay, yeah. What's the question?
This says, can you girls each give your own definition of emotional control? And really quick, before we answer that, Maul says, the 45-minute sessions of sitting in the car detoxing from work is amazing.
Yes.
So the men agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so
especially listening to music.
Can you re-say that question for my guests, my viewers as well?
So for the viewers also, the question was, can you girls each give your own definition of emotional control? So those who are, tuned in, drop your definitions in the comments as well while we discuss.
Yes, please do.
So how do y'all define emotional control?
Emotional.
Hey, Titi.
Let me think about this one.
It's me and Amani immediately turning our neck.
Okay, repeat it one more time.
Yes. Can you girls each give your own definition of emotional control? Like, what does that look like? How can you identify that someone is trying to control you emotionally?
Okay.
That is not the way that I interpreted the question the first time.
Yeah, that's not the way I interpreted the first time either.
I thought it was personal emotional control, like your interpersonal emotional control. How are you controlling your own emotions? See, that is harder for me to answer.
Yes. I agree.
No. In reference to what our topic is for tonight. In reference to what our topic is for tonight. Think of it.
Got it.
Oh, okay. Yes. I understand.
I have a comment. Someone, J-Ron said, being able to dictate somebody else's energy for the day, whether they are happy or mad.
Yeah. That's a good definition. I think
that is.
I can agree. Yeah, if somebody has the ability to shift your mood completely, like do a complete 180 on you, just based on how they're feeling, I could understand, looking at it that way. I also think that if you are dealing with someone who puts you in situations where it's like, because they're having a bad day, now you have to have a bad day because they experience some nonsense at work. Now, when they come home, it's like, now you have to be upset with them. You can't still live in the bubbly space that you were in for the whole day. And of course, have respect for the fact that your partner had a rough day. But if they're upset because you're happy, it's like, okay, what you're not going to do is overpower the way that, I'm actually feeling. You live in your feelings, let me live in mine, and let's just have respect for each other's. Or if they're just manipulating you in situations or trying to get reactions out of you, trying to invoke emotions that just aren't necessary for the current situation that you guys are experiencing. I think those are just some ways that I would identify them trying to, control you emotionally. Let me know if that helps.
Yeah, someone said, so basically you can't allow someone to drain you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like that too.
I think you also have to have some sense of your own personal emotional regulation. Like if you just are naturally a person who is easily swayed emotionally, it's harder to be able to determine that somebody else is manipulating your emotions. So it's like a 1 and 2 game. You got to be able to tell when you get in there yourself, but also not allow, much like Tanasia said, not allowing other individuals to have so much sway over you emotionally. If you feel as though you are having really high highs and really low lows and they're all attributed to one individual or certain circumstances, then it's time to reassess whether or not you're actually being manipulated or emotionally controlled by that individual, or if you just don't have proper emotional regulation for yourself.
No, so true.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm still in the process. I'm definitely still in the process of trying to, with the phrase of kill them with kindness and not let the words, especially being in a work setting, bother you, because I feel like for me, I feel like I'm an emotional person, but I'm not at the same time. I feel like it really just depends on the situation. But honestly, I just most of the time just ignore the weird energy that is like trying to evolve me, because it will if I let it.
That is precisely why when I thought the original question was, how do you control your own emotions? My neck tilted a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, I'm still working on that. I don't have a definite answer for that question yet. So that's why I was like, ooh, that's a hard one already. We just started.
I have a really good comment. No, facts. That's a real hard one. And we just started. But I have a really good comment. Jennifer says you have to be centered in what centers you so that you know when someone is trying to control you. 100%. Yes. You got to know what your own grounding state is. So,
yes, how to get back to you. Amal says you have to learn how to ignore bad vibes, period. And he also says every action doesn't need a reaction sometimes.
Yes, I think I agree.
Yes,
I think that's very important.
I'm the queen of that.
Yeah. Right.
Yo, that's a fact.
The queen of it. Leave it right where it lies.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, me starting my new job, ChatGPT is really my best friend.
Oh,
because
girl.
When emails be having me effed up, I type exactly how I'm feeling.
Not saying the word.
Yes.
That was really good.
Progress. I'm telling you, it's the traditional workforce. She back in it. I'm just saying.
That happened real quick. Switching up real fast.
Okay.
But literally, I'll copy and paste, put that joint in ChatGPT, and I feel like the way ChatGPT.
What? What? The
ChatGPT.
Oh my goodness. Send me the link to that app. I need to download it.
Maul said, what?
Not too much on my sis. Not too
much.
Not
too much. Don't do that.
Observe and write comments, not statements. Thank you. Anyway, ChatGPT be having me feeling like I'm saying it in a professional manner. I'm putting what I want to say in a professional manner, and I feel like it's making them mad, and that just really like makes me happy.
Yeah. I'll eat somebody up in an email quick, but I definitely, when my tempers are high, have to run it through Copilot, ChatGPT, Genesis, Google Genesis, all of them. Please revise in a professional, humble, and considerate tone of voice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when they done got me heated. So the viewer that asked that question about emotional control, she then said a close relative of hers allows everyone around her to project their negative energy towards her.
Yeah, no.
What?
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, no.
I completely agree with you.
I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying, like, one thing I've learned growing, like, over these past couple of years is that I cannot allow not one person to disturb my peace. Not one. So I don't really deal with much anymore. Or if I start to feel overwhelmed, or if someone, like if I'm on the phone with someone and they're starting to make my blood boil just a tiny bit, I'm quick to be like, all right, I gotta go, and hang up. Because I've learned that I can't allow others to affect my emotions that much. But that's something that I've grown into and I'm still working on. That's not something I'm I have down 110% yet. I'm probably at a good 90 because I'm really quick to hang up, but I'm still working on it.
Yeah. I just think I got a call.
Gotta go. Sorry, somebody's calling.
Nah, I think I got a call.
I've got another question. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This question is, why do you feel that girls with good hearts attract controlling, manipulating men, knowing that's not your character?
Because they have mommy issues.
You think that's why girls with good hearts attract controlling men?
Like the men have mommy issues,
so they're attracted to those type of women.
They're attracted to those type of women because they probably have the qualities that they're missing from their mothers. Now, I don't know if that's 110%. I'm not a doctor at this, but that's just my
it tracks though. I see.
Yeah. Where's Jody? Jody, where are you in the comments?
Jennifer says opposites attract.
Exactly.
So that's
the path is definitely
with what you're
there.
saying.
Yeah.
Jody, where you at? Where's your expertise, ma'am?
Carrie said yes. That's the answer. The price is right.
The price is right.
I can't.
That
what do y'all
is too
think
funny.
Over here on my side?
Jody.
Yeah, what do y'all think? Because y'all a little quiet.
Right? They over here sleeping.
Ma says,
just listen.
Most men that are that way grew up around that.
That is true.
So most men that exhibit those traits grew up around that.
Okay, wait. So they
just
grew up
around child trauma,
like who are just controlling and manipulating. A lot of men who exhibit those traits grew up around that type of environment.
I understand.
I feel that those
could be
men
from
that
their
girls
childhood.
with good hearts are designated fixers. I get what you're saying. So she says another viewer says, I feel that those men look at girls with good hearts as designated like fixers. And they're very entitled, somebody said. Childhood trauma. I'm just reading off what people are saying. These are the responses. Thank you, chat. Y'all doing real good. Let's give y'all an applause.
That is dramatic.
I appreciate y'all.
No, I feel like I agree with those responses too. I might not have been aggressively just mommy issues, but still.
No, I think that's a valid point, though. I think that is.
I do think it's very valid.
I feel like a lot of
interesting
gentlemen like that.
So, what do you guys think about this take? Maul says, again, speaking from a male perspective, we don't grow up that way. Like, this isn't just a born nature. It's a learned behavior. So it's not something that men are just like, oh, you're just born a controlling and manipulative male. It's a learned behavior. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I completely agree.
That's something that someone can learn at very young, though, to be controlling.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I don't specify an age.
So for sure, yes, but it could start soon as the child, is like 2 years old. Children are very smart and very intelligent. So yes, it is a learned behavior, but I don't know where it's really stemming. Where is it stemming from? Yes, they may see, their relatives, their father figures demonstrating that type of behavior. So for sure, or they may be lacking the nourishment and the needs of their mom or motherly figure. So that's why they seek that in their partner. But also even on the, to move it to the women's side as well, the woman could be lacking male figures or having daddy issues as well. And that's why they seek that male dominant energy. It's just not what they really are wanting, maybe, but they could be seeking it because of that too. It's like vice versa.
Yeah, I agree. Jayron said controlling can be a defense mechanism. Know a guy who's controlling to his girl as a sense of security in the relationship.
And see, this is my thing with that.
See? Get into it, sis.
Yeah,
Hold on.
Get into it.
Because, okay, so this is where the debate comes in about, okay, I'm going to ask that question next, Kayla. So this is what I guess where the debate stems from in terms of having standards versus being controlling over your partner.
Mm-hmm.
If you have certain standards, right? And let's say your partner is just not, whether it's they've changed, whether it's that's just not who they are, whatever the circumstance is, and they are not meeting those standards, and then you try to impart rules on them to try and make them meet your standards, at that point, yeah, it's your insecurities because whatever they're doing is not meeting your standards. So it's kind of like it's making you feel insecure in your relationship because it's like, I don't know what else they're doing, whatever the case may be. Again, situational. But at a certain point, when do you then just say, okay, it's dead? Because at that point, you're changing the person. If they have made the conscious decision that this is who they are, clearly it's a conscious decision. Well, subconscious could be too. But they have made the decision that what you're saying and what you are expressing that you want, expect, desire, all of those things from your partner, and they're not willing to either make the changes, don't want to make the changes, or they say, oh, I'm going to make the change, and they don't make the change. At that point, you are controlling them because they don't want to do it. It's very clear. It's very evident. They do not want to make the change. So at that point, baby, let it go. Let them be them. And if you can't live with who they have decided to become, then it just is what it is.
It is not our job to change men. It is not. They need to change themselves. And if they don't want to change,
I'm crying.
That's it, and that's all. Like,
somebody
leave that man alone, girl. Leave that man alone. It ain't gonna get better. It's not.
And I think it goes both ways, even for men. If you have a standard for your female partner, if you have a standard for your female partner and you feel as though she is disregarding you, you feel as though there's no implementation of the feedback that you have given. Because again, when you are dating somebody, things happen, right? Situations come up. And then that's at those points you may realize, hey, this isn't something that I like, or this isn't a trait that I would, prefer my partner to have. At that point, once you address it, and if there's no change or implementation being made on their behalf, and then you keep pushing her every time they do it, it's like, oh, if you don't do this, it's a problem type of vibe. At that point, okay, we're crossing the line. They don't want to do it, babes. Just let it go. Just leave it. That's just maybe just not your person.
Right. And Jay said that it's hard to change someone who's already stuck in their ways, which is very true.
I mean, but realistically, by the time you're seriously dating, everyone is stuck in their ways. And not to say it in a way to combat what he's saying, but genuinely, people are who they are by the time that you meet them when we come of age to be seriously dating. So that's one aspect of it. But then there's the whole aspect of, I think, in a lot of relationships, especially with women, I can't necessarily speak from the male mind, especially with women, you get into a relationship with a man and you see, I don't want to say potential, but you see glimpses of traits that you like, right? And you already have this idea of the man that you want to be with. You see that potential, or you see the glimpses of those traits in this man that has now become your long-term partner. Time goes on and he's doing things that you necessarily wouldn't have wanted your partner to be doing, whether that be he's a lot more social than you would want for your partner to be, or he's a lot less social than you want for your partner to be. The conversation shouldn't be, I don't like this, I don't want my man doing this, so you need to stop. It needs to be, is this really who you are? Because you're not supposed to be dating somebody trying to mold them into the person that you want to be with.
Exactly.
You're supposed to be dating the person
right
because you want to be with them.
Right.
Period.
Exactly.
Point blank.
Especially
anything outside of that is controlling.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, Ma said same thing. You knew who the person was when you got with them.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else says people.
Now sometimes you don't. I will say that sometimes you don't.
Tricksters out there.
I was gonna say,
but that's why you have that conversation. Is this really who you are? Like, is this you for real? Because if it is,
because they really be faking. They really fake.
Let me know now.
In the beginning.
Michaela said, "That's good, Winter." Jody
Thank you, Michaela.
People, males and females, only change essentially when they want to and when they're ready.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, wait. I got another thing. It says it's also what a... Okay, so this is about our last... Listen, no, it's not 2 different lives. Don't worry about what I got going on.
I think we're looking down, side, left, up.
Like, what's happening?
Another comment. Yes, this is another comment. And it had to do with our other conversation because I just want all the real-time reactions. So this one also says, but it's also what a good female would allow. A good female will attract all kinds of men, but if she allows a man who she is aware he is manipulative or portrays narcissistic traits, and she still allows him in, will continue with this behavior. Men will change when they're ready. No one can change anyone, but we can decide who we allow in our lives, which also ties into what we're talking about right now. 100% agree with that takeaway. Emphasis on fakes. Maul says she gonna get the real Maul at first sight. We know.
Not everybody's built like you, Maul. Let's just clear the air.
Love me for who I am, period.
And that's how it should be.
And that's the thing. That's why I say, at what point do you then decide, okay, this just isn't my person? Because when you start getting to the place where you're consistently being like, well, you need to do this, and if you don't do this, there's like this punishment associated with it in your relationship and all of this, it's just like, okay, it's just dead the situation altogether. Just dead it. It's time to call it quits.
I think the problem is people don't know when to dead it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's like certain people, they'll be like, once they see that one red flag, oh, dead. Done
Been
up.
there.
Cut off.
Been there. You got one straw.
I swear.
One
strike, you're out, not 3 strikes. Depending on the strikes.
I swear, but then there's situations, I think what it comes down to is when people don't show their real true colors before you start actually taking them serious, and then the moment you take them serious and you're all in, then I feel like that's when it's like a little hard to dead it, because you like, dang, like maybe this was just... But then that's when the excuses come up. See, look, I'm one of them.
Guilty.
I'm one of them.
Guilty.
One of
I'm
our
talking about my
viewers
dang
says,
stuff.
my issue is I don't know when to call it quits, and by the time I do, it's too late, and my heart is ... You know, you're already involved. You're already in it. You're already feeling, oh, I'm liking this person.
Yep.
Oh,
yada, yada.
Get over it.
Yeah.
You could do it again.
See, honestly, that's okay. See,
like, you can do it again.
Now I have another point to bring up. You can.
Okay.
You can. Because like I was thinking about it actually today, like when you restart over with someone, like I know the process, or like ending it with things with the person feels so hard, and you're like sad, you might cry for a couple of days. Yes, you're grieving. You're definitely grieving a relationship that you valued, and that's what happens. But when when time heals and you actually start dating again, that new person that you're meeting is like fresh energy. So you start all over again with a whole different person. It's not repeating. It's just, different energy, different vibes. You might like them or love them in a different way that you've never loved someone before, just because it's different. So it's like, it hurts to make that initial cutoff for sure. And it's hard to do that, but you can't allow your boyfriend to keep you from your husband. You can try and practice and go through what you need to go through to test things out and do all these, but you cannot, and I repeat, cannot allow your boyfriend to keep you from your husband. And you can't let your husband keep you from your next husband if that's what you need, because you gotta just move on.
Oh,
okay.
No.
So no.
Yes.
What I was gonna say was,
because if your husband does your dirty, you gotta cut him off.
Thank you for the rose.
Thank you, Jay. He said preach.
What I was gonna say was, I think what the problem really boils down to is the boyfriend isn't even the boyfriend. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
He's not even the boyfriend. So it's really just,
well, if he's not your boyfriend, there's no need. What are we doing?
Well, not for nothing. Good. A lot of people get titles that they don't deserve. And I think a lot of relationships are struggling with that.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, I have another comment from J. Ron. It says, a lot of people are scared of being alone, though, and don't have enough confidence to believe they can find better.
That's very true. And then there comes a conversation, reeling it all the way back to the beginning.
Right.
You need to look inward. Like, it is a self problem, not a relationship problem. You can't fix that because the problem is not the relationship. The problem is you. So every relationship that you get into, until God decides to, or whomever you believe in decides to bestow your person on you to stick it out with you, it's going to continuously be a problem, because the problem is, what's the common denominator here? You.
You are the problem. They hate to hear it.
So Mal says, from a man's perspective, starting over is good, but don't bring the past into the new relationship. And I feel like I hear that a lot from, like, guy friends and stuff. It's just like, they're bringing up their ex or their past issues, they're bringing into this relationship.
I feel like that happens when people aren't healed from when they start dating too soon.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if there's enough time in between, like, there's no reason to, think about like who you were with before, like if you healed from them. I feel like most of the time, in the early stages of a relationship, it is important to talk about what you need to talk about without overly talking about your past, for sure. But there are things that you can't even heal from while you're single. It takes that new relationship to bring up old things or things that you suppressed that you didn't even know that bothered you. That kind of gets, brought up when you're back in a relationship. But that doesn't mean you need to be like, well, I'm blah, 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 because this person did this to me. You just say, well, listen, I just discovered that this is triggering me. I don't like how this is moving. And you kind of set boundaries from there, compared to you just like dwelling on the fact that this past person affected you in this way. I'm sure that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think also too is, most of the time, it's never about speaking on the past. That's the problem. It's about either the female or the male either being in contact with the past. That's another problem for me, because they always want to be like, or the females want to be like, don't be talking about the past, but okay, so why are you communicating with the past in the present?
Then that's not the past. See, that's a whole nother conversation.
Exactly.
Anything that is currently going on, anyone who is currently around, it is not the past. It is quite literally the present. So we're talking about something that's happening right here and now. Let's dig into it. Either you're going to cut that out, or we. See, I have grown. I have grown, because what I was going to say is either you're going to cut that out or I'm going to cut into you. But we have grown. We have matured, right? So,
Deron, don't get kicked out of this joint. Talking about he said, what's wrong with an ex-best friend? LOL, JK.
Okay, yeah, anyway. We're not even going to address that.
JK.
We're not going to address that.
That was cute.
Carrie said, Winter, you're preaching.
Oh,
Jody says, proud of you, Winter, with the laughing emoji. So
I come a long way, girl.
We have, I have another question. Do you guys believe in right person, wrong time?
No.
Do you believe in right person, wrong time? Yes. But that doesn't mean that you need to be with them. Like, there needs to be another time with them. Like, when you encounter them, yes, it might be the wrong time, but that doesn't mean you need to double back down the line in 15 years. Like, yes, if it happens, it happens. But I don't think it's a necessity to, like, try to get back to that person, if that makes sense.
So when I hear right person, wrong time, I quite literally, at least to me, my interpretation is that that is your person. You're just not in the right season to be together. But 15 years down the road, the season is now here. It's the right person. Everything's aligned. That's how I've always interpreted right person, wrong time. And that's why I don't believe in it. Because it's your person, it's your person. There is no wrong time. That doesn't mean that you guys have to actually be in a relationship, but your person is your person.
I feel like
Somebody
there
said,
definitely
nah,
is
you
a
gotta
wrong
double back.
time. You don't always have to. But I feel like I personally believe that there can be a wrong time. There's times where people are just not ready at all, and they have a lot to deep dive into within themselves in order to be prepared for this person. And it's just the wrong time, and they're not in a place to do the patching up that they need to or heal the parts of themselves that they need to. And there's times where that happens, and down the line they don't get back with them, and they just never encounter again, and they move on and their lives are different. Like, yes, I feel like that happens for sure. I feel like there's definitely
I
a
agree
chance
with
of wrong
that.
time.
100%. I agree with that. But I think the context that I've always heard it, or a lot of times it's being spoken, is they're talking about somebody who they're not even with. They're not talking about their husband. They're talking about their boyfriend from 11th grade. That's a no.
Well, I don't really consider anything that's not with an adult brain. I mean, I feel like as an adult, I don't know who's talking about their partner from 11th grade, but I'm talking about, it's kind of hard to
No, you'd be surprised.
It's hard for me to run that back because I'm really talking about an adult mindset. I'm not even talking about like a high school partner, but like I guess I get it.
He said, someone said, nah, if the time ain't right, I'm going to make it right.
Got it. He said right person. Time ain't nothing.
Somebody else said, well, personally, I'm going to spin the block if I feel like she's the one.
And I like that energy.
Respectfully.
Yeah, spin the block. Spin the block. Yes, for sure. Do what you gotta do.
What was the reason you had to spin it in the first place? I want to know. Was you wrong, or was it her, or was it just a mutual thing? Because I feel like circumstances matter.
But that's why that's why I'm
saying
sometimes they don't double back because maybe what you have done is too much. Not Nelly and Ashanti spun the block. Oh my gosh, please. They did spin the block.
This is a piggyback question.
Go ahead. What's the question?
Do you believe that you fully have to be healed in order to be in a healthy relationship?
Yes.
No.
I feel like I said before, depending on what we're healing on.
Like I said before, I feel like I feel like sometimes you need to be within a relationship to heal. So
just
certain parts of yourself.
Because I get the perspective, but I think being with the right partner will also heal you. And
yes,
it has to be an equally yoked relationship. Like, they have to know that they're healing you. You can't just be using them, because then that defeats the purpose. Because at the end of when the tables turn, now you feel guilty because you're realizing that you've used somebody else, and it's time to cut them loose. But I do think that being in a relationship can heal you when you're with the right partner. That should never be the purpose of the relationship, but it can. I think there's a lot of things in my current relationship that I've been healed or have been healed within myself from this relationship, or just through osmosis of being in a loving, healthy relationship.
I think in my perspective, I need to be healed in certain areas of my life to even feel like I can be in a healthy relationship or even take the relationship serious, to be honest. He can heal certain parts of me, but other parts of me he can't. Only I can. So there's nothing I could do about that but fix me.
Yes, and Jay said that healing is a never-ending journey in a way.
Absolutely.
Which I agree with, for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah.
100%. There's stuff that I thought I was healed from that I get triggered from 5 years down the road, and I'm like,
dang, like I thought
we was better than this.
I thought we needed that one. I thought my steps went a little far. Yes, girl. That happens often.
Ja has 2 questions. His first one is, so do y'all believe in multiple right people?
Yes. I do. Winter does not. If y'all don't know her by now,
Winter is a debatable person. Anything we agree on, she's like, wow, it's always a win.
No, that is not.
No, Winter,
you're in the middle 50-50.
That was not the response I was gonna give. I was actually going to say yes, But
it was the hesitation that threw us off.
Because, see, I need to clarify things.
Okay.
Because I can't just say yes. That big man over there will lose his marbles. But
the app will be deleted and we will never see TikTok again.
I will be
we will never see the one and last time.
I mean, why?
No,
why?
Okay,
What?
but no,
why not?
I say
why
yes because I do think that certain people speak to different parts of you. Like I think, also I'm a firm believer in there's multiple different types of soulmates. I don't think all soulmates are romantic, and that's why I think that there can be more than one right person. But I also know Ja, and so in the context that he's saying it, I don't necessarily agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, what do you mean in the context that he's saying it?
It's the way he asked the question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The multiple right people, like multiple soulmates or multiple people that connect with you or multiple whatever. I feel like no matter the way he said it,
we're actually talking about relationships.
Yeah, I feel like
we're talking about romantic relationships.
I feel like what he said is regarding that is like clear. Like I'm confused as to why in the context that he said it you don't agree with, but what you're saying I feel like is the exact same thing in my head. So I'm trying to understand the difference.
I feel as though so there have been relationships in my life that the intention was to be romantic, but it was platonic. Like it really shouldn't have been nothing more than we're really good friends. But I will always hold a very special place in my heart for them because of who they were to me in those seasons of my life. But I wouldn't necessarily say that was the right person. It's like I get it and I agree, but I think for me it doesn't fit.
Right, I feel you. Because in that moment, it might have felt like the right person, but further on, you realize that really wasn't the right person for you.
Or even in that moment, I realized it wasn't the right person for me, but I love him dearly.
As I can see, Winter is right in that.
Keep it pushing.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Josh said, because if I spin the block and someone on that block, the block getting hit up.
Okay,
see?
Next.
See? Y'all see what I was saying?
Okay, so next question.
Not the block getting hit up.
Okay, wait. The other question I have one more follow-up on spin the block. When do y'all feel it's healthy to spin the block or accept someone who is spinning the block on you?
It depends on the boundary.
My mom said, good question.
It depends on like it depends on what happened, what boundaries were crossed. It depends on if they're going into this with new energy, changing the vibe. Like, it has to be new. It can't be we're gonna spin the block and we going back to what we was doing 5-6 years ago and it's not.
Right, because now you're moving backwards.
Not even backwards, you're just staying stagnant at that point. You're doing the same thing you were doing. There's no growth. So I feel like it truly depends. Truly depends.
Yeah, I don't know about spinning the block. I never spun the block. Oh. Yeah, I don't know about spinning the block. I don't want you spinning the block. For me, it's like once it's dead, it's dead. We could be cool, but it's no spinning the block in the same capacity of what it was. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Like I said, leave them where they lie.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
All love. No, I can't harbor no ill will in my heart.
Somebody's talking about always until I'm done. Okay. You know what?
Sir, love please, that for you.
Pipe down. Someone said depends on the person. I don't like.
Okay, if I'm giving like a very logical answer and not strictly talking about my own personal perspective on it, you got to be respectful first and foremost, because a lot of people will spin a block and the block won't even be cleared. And as Josh said, he gonna spin the block, and if it's somebody there, the block can hit up.
He's doing a lot.
Respectfully. Respectfully.
That sounds like something all of our cousins or brothers would say.
That is
100%.
So our family.
My mom
and
said,
they are quite literally why I think the way that I do. I don't I know
in
y'all.
All caps.
Block getting hit up.
They help.
Logically speaking,
they help a lot with how I move. having a bunch of males. It really helps. Yeah. But sorry,
logically
continue.
speaking, Amani's question is the only real way to assess it. Have you changed? What's changed? Has anything changed? Like the problems that we had before, are they still going to be present? Are they still going to take the front seat in this dynamic, in this relationship? If so, it's not the right time, baby. You still got some work to do.
Exactly. Someone said, sidebar, y'all need to be sipping wine doing this. I completely agree. I don't know why we're not doing it. Someone else said...
don't got nothing to do with the convo. Girl, please.
Someone else said, so why do women, blanket statement, bash Jews for trying to spin the block? Because the wrong guy spinning the block. That's why.
You're also like Winter said before, you're also spinning, well, everyone kind of said it, but you're also spinning the block and you still look like the same person you were 10 blocks ago. It's not cute. It's not.
Right.
You still got, the clothes is sweaty. The clothes is torn up. The shoes got holes in them. The socks are dirty on the bottom. It's not cute. That's why you're spinning the block.
But what if he had a fight for his life to come back to the block? Like, I'm just saying, you don't know what he went through.
You should have prepared better. You should have prepared better.
The bottom of the socks is black. Got me crying.
Like, you should have prepared better. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Yes. Michaela said, T, you cleared. Yes, because that's just what it is.
Yeah. Tanisha said exactly.
Yes.
With all caps.
J-Ron said, y'all don't think spin the block gives desperate energy?
I think it depends. I feel like a lot of these questions are too situational.
Girl. I think it's the way. I think that it depends the way they move when they're trying to spin the block. Like, if you blowing on my phone and we haven't talked in months, it's giving desperate.
Now, I need the boombox. I need the flowers. I need the random cash apps. You know, I need you to leave a nice wrap Louis Vuitton box outside the house. Like, that's the type of energy I need you to come on if you're spinning the block. Because the block got left for a reason. Okay? So don't just come back with any old thing.
So I was crazy with what I said, but Winter just said the same thing in just a nicer way. I'm just saying. Anyway, okay.
Never said you was crazy. I just think the delivery was crazy. You went sick, but I agree.
Okay. Wait, I have a question. This one is, okay, this is a little like sidebar type, but how do y'all feel about overprotective moms? Like the moms who just won't let go.
Of men or of women?
Of your partner.
The boy moms or the woman moms or just
overprotective moms of the partner?
I'm assuming that this listener is talking about, your partner's mom.
What are you protective of?
Like
I get it's your child, but like way? That's the question I have, because
like, are they too involved in the relationship? Is that the way that this person's steering the question? Is the parent too involved in the relationship?
She says yes.
Okay. I feel like that kind of becomes the issue between me and my partner, because I don't ever want to feel like I'm in a position where I'm uncomfortable with a situation with your parents, because first of all, I value my family and my mom and my dad very much. So I would never want to feel like my parents are overstepping a boundary with my partner where they like feel like they need to kind of shut something down. So in the case one, that's something that I would definitely have a conversation with about my partner. But if it's something that's not changing at all, I don't really know how far we can get, especially before it gets to a marriage. Now, if we're married, that's boundaries that should have been crossed out, X'd out, checked off before we even got to the point of marriage, because there's no reason why your mom is in the relationship with me more than you in a way that it feels like I'm romantically with them. That's crazy. Like, you know what I mean?
I agree. There should be no reason that we're already in a relationship and I haven't even met your parents or even gotten to be able to know them, have a relationship with them. Like, I need to be able to connect with them on that level to definitely, I feel like that's one of my like tasks before I can even really make it official with a guy. Like, I need to know what I need to meet your parents. I want you to meet my parents. Like, I need to see what the vibe is. Like, if my parents not rocking with you or your parents not rocking with me, then that's honestly gonna just throw the whole thing off, because how are we about to go about this?
So, I think, okay, I'll start by saying this. I have, a special appreciation for the men of the world who, truly honor their mothers. I think that most of the time, the way that they honor their mother definitely sets the stage for the way that they will respect you. Most of the time, again, not, a blanket statement. But I do think that it's up to your partner to establish the boundaries, for sure. I think that it's very hard for you to even just put it all on the mom and just say like, oh, she's an overprotective mom, which she may be. But I do believe that at the end of the day, that's his mama. And not saying that it's okay, but it's his job to have the conversations with his mother and say, hey, look, this is what I can't, have you speaking to my partner this way. Or if her and I are getting into something and you're around, like, my expectation is for you to not get involved. Like, these are conversations that your partner as an adult should be having with their parents, especially if you guys are dating and getting prepared to be in a place of getting married and all of these things. This is your long-term partner. There needs to be guidelines placed for your family, because I believe that women, you should do the same thing for your man. Put guidelines in place. People can't just say what they want to say. Talk to him any kind of way. Speak how they feel publicly. And if they have something to say, my rule of thumb is, if you do have something to say, and especially for the people who I know have my best interests at heart, or you see something that you're genuinely concerned about, come to me and have a conversation with me. Don't go to him because you are my family. You're my, like, you come from me. You're my lineage. So it's like, we need to have a conversation first, because you may just be missing context anyway, or you don't even know what, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not in your relationship. They don't understand, the things that you guys may understand. But I definitely think that, yes, of course, it may be frustrating to have an overprotective mom, but at the end of the day, it's their mom. So at some point, it's going to be that battle of, oh, this is my child, yada, yada. But it is your partner's job to establish where the lines cannot be crossed, and what business she should not be getting into. Because why do you have an opinion on that? It has nothing to do with you. It don't involve your pockets. It don't involve your heart. It don't involve nothing. Let me handle my business over here. And that's a conversation I think, your partner should be having with his mom.
I agree, because you could only deal with that to a certain extent, honestly. Once it gets too crazy, it's like, all right, what's going on? Like, are you conversating with her? Are you guys communicating? Like, what's going on? Are you not saying anything because it's not bothering you, but you can obviously see it's bothering me? Now, that's a problem for me.
Someone said, I feel overprotective mothers have always been like that. I also feel that mothers should know their place when it comes to their children's relationships. Now, I myself will not tolerate disrespect towards my child in my presence. So I feel like that's more talking on, like, if the mother was with, say the mother's around you and your partner, and you are coming off harsh or wrong to their child in front of them, and they're going to comment on that type of situation. I personally think that when it comes to you and your partner, you should not be, things between you two should not be public. It should definitely be something that's done in private, and in face of other people. It should always just be smiles, kikis, and keep it pushing. No one should ever know that you got something going on with your partner and that something's wrong. And then once those doors close, once that person leaves, then you could talk about it, hash it out, and get whatever off the chest that you need to get off of, but it shouldn't be done in front of anybody at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely don't want to argue with my partner in front of my family because child, my family is a piece of work. Once they hear something, it's over with. You're done. You're done. We're probably not even gonna last like a few more months. Like, so I already know when it comes down to boundaries with that, like, especially if sometimes when your family be nosy, like, you don't need to tell your family everything that's going on in your relationship. Like,
I feel like it's important once you realize, to not
sure.
tell, you know, we've had this conversation before on the podcast. It's important to keep whatever you're talking about within your relationship.
Yeah.
Someone said, I also think there's a time and a place. Which is valid.
Yeah. I think that is definitely situational in terms of your parents speaking up. Like in the comment that was on yours, Deke, about, if my child is disrespected and, in my presence, then I'll say something. Yeah. I think that's a different situation than you just being in your child's relationship. You know what I mean? I think that's understandable. Sure. I think as a partner, that as a partner, I would understand if something crazy came out of my mouth and my man's mom was like, oh, like if I really took it too far and if she did say something to me, of course, in the moment, I may be like kind of defensive because I'm going to feel like, oh, this is our conversation. But I could respect the fact that at the end of the day, that's your child and you're not going to want anybody talking to your child just any kind of way. So I definitely think
I agree.
I could understand that. Mom says in-house business stays in-house. Simple as that.
Period.
Okay, so regarding our whole topic of control versus standards, what are things that you feel is too controlling? Like, just list off a few things that you all feel are things that are, controlling compared to having standard.
I think
let's not all talk at one time. Like, come on.
I think when it is pushing the boundary of changing who that person is, and it is a repetitive demand and not a request or a concern being expressed, that is controlling. Because it is one thing for you to say, babe, I really don't like when you do that, or babe, that hat look crazy. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Please, I'm not walking out the house with you looking like that. Versus, no, I don't want my man dressing like that. You're not wearing that. Throw all that out right now. That is a demand. I really don't want to go out with my man when he wearing that hat, but
right. If he
there's
feel
ways
like
to go about it. No,
it really is. No, if he's diehard, you're gonna learn.
Oh, if he's diehard, if
you're diehard and you're just like, I really like this. I love this hat. Then you know what?
I'm gonna stick by him.
I'm gonna stick beside him. I am. I am.
But then when somebody asked
why he got the hat on, I told him not to wear that. Now,
I told him not to wear that hat.
I'd be like, I told him not to wear that. I will. I surely will.
But that's my man. So
Paul said unwillingness to
not
compromise.
Too much. Not too much of my man.
Right. Unwillingness to compromise is as a response to your question.
Unwillingness to compromise. Can they elaborate?
They want you to elaborate.
Because I definitely agree with, like, when it comes to for me, I don't like to be told what to do, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be submissive to my partner. I feel like it just depends on what and how and like what exactly I'm being told with not. You know what I mean? Like, you're not about to go outside with your friends because I said you're not going. Like, who?
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do what I want to do for sure. Now, if you really didn't want me to go outside and you wanted to have a conversation with me about it and be like, listen, babe, like, I feel like you shouldn't go out this weekend. You should stay in, you've been going out a lot or whatever. That's a conversation. And that's where I could be like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, I'll agree. I'll stay in. But more on like you not going out or you're not doing this or I feel like it depends on the delivery too. maybe.
Demand versus request. If you're
Yes.
demanding or telling me,
that's just not gonna work.
Like, who are you? Like, I don't even listen to my mom when she talks to me like that. All right, I'm dragging it because we know.
You definitely listen to my
But at this big age, ma'am,
no, seriously,
sir, who are you talking to?
They said we can do things that we both like, not just what one partner always wants to do.
Okay,
so somebody's
now I
controlling
understand
you,
what you
kind of
mean by
want.
that.
Yeah, like you're not kind of willing to do something that, you know, is of interest to both of us, but we always just have to succumb to what you feel like is fun or what you know, want to spend your time doing. And when I suggest something, it's just kind of brushed off.
Of no interest
I can
to
see
you.
that. Yeah, I don't like that.
I
don't
agree
like
with
that
that
at all.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Yeah. Not a fan. And I will vocalize that I don't like that. And I will vocalize the pattern that I'm seeing. And then see growth. Certain things we have just recently, you know, matured out of. But I will be petty to the point where you don't want to do nothing I want to do now. We ain't doing nothing. We're not going anywhere. We ain't doing not a gosh darn thing, baby. Because the world don't revolve around you. This is our relationship. It revolves around us. So what's going on here? But yeah.
I was going to say, I feel like the key and the most very important factor is a relationship is two individuals coming together with their own lives. So if you're not feeling like your life is coming together with someone and they are taking over it completely and it's not combining and creating your own together, then I feel like that's the problem. I feel like that's an issue.
I was going to say, with that being said, do you feel like it is possible for someone who is like a true homebody hermit to be with somebody who is very opposite end of the spectrum, very outgoing, loves to be around people, etc.? Do you think that is possible to cultivate a healthy relationship with people who are like complete opposite ends of the spectrum?
I've seen it work plenty of times.
I was just about to say that.
I've seen. Now, for me personally, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm in a relationship now, obviously, and we are quite different, but at our core, we are very similar. He's a lot more outgoing than I am, or a lot more social, I should say, especially with his people than I am. Because even with my people, I have a timer. And once that timer goes off, it's time for me to wrap it up, go back in my hole, recharge. But I've seen it work plenty of times. But the one thing that I see that is a common denominator in all of those relationships is that both partners are very considerate of one another. So there is an extreme introvert, an extreme extrovert, or whatever term we are using nowadays. And the introvert will oftentimes slink off when they no longer have the social capacity, right? And the extrovert will go and find them to check on them. It's just the consideration of one another and allowing space for you guys to have your differences, but still keeping your connection sacred. You're not forgetting who your partner is in the midst of you being who you are, especially when you are bringing them out of their element into your element. So
I agree. I feel like for me, if I was in that position, I will not more so like adjust, but like, I don't know, be on the same type of vibe that they're on. Like, I just want us to be on the same vibe. Like, I don't want to go out and then you at home and I could be laid up with you and all I'm doing outside is doing what I could be doing in the living room.
I agree.
I
get that.
I'm crying.
Like, literally, like, I feel like once I'm locked into a relationship, like, it's over with. Like, my friends is not gonna be seeing me that much, and not that is a bad thing, but shoot, my friends is doing that right now as we speak. I barely see them because they all got men. So, and I don't blame them. I don't feel no type of way, because if it was me, I'll be doing the same thing.
See, I think that needs to be appreciated more, because there are a lot of women who, when their friends get into relationships, they feel some type of way. Oh, I'll never see her no more. Or she funny. She got a man now. Or, you know, we not that close no more. She got a man now. so you're not close because she's in a relationship? Like, is your friendship determined by how close you are to one another within like physical proximity? Like, do you need to be with them all the time to remain friends? Because if that's the case, the foundation of your friendship is a little off. Like, what do you really have outside of always being together? And I think that's another thing that comes into play when you think about the evolution of relationships from childhood to adulthood. A lot of your friends when you're younger are friends because of proximity. You're friends with them because you go to the same school, you're in the same classes. But as you mature and you grow, you realize that what actually makes a true friendship is not proximity. It's the core values, it's the connection, all of the above. And I think the same thing goes for a relationship.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I feel like for me, there's a difference where, yeah, you could be spending time with your man, but now it's to the point, well, there's a point where you're not hitting me up at all. But when you and your man arguing, that's when you want to hit me up. Now I feel like you're using me. Now you feel like you're using me because you know that
I was going to bring that point up. I was going to bring that point up.
I don't like that.
Because I feel like a lot of times when I hear other women say that, oh, me and this person isn't close anymore because they're in their relationship, is it because of the physical? From my perspective, I think it's because of the change in communication and the change in, oh, I'm just going to randomly FaceTime, because that time that you would have to randomly FaceTime your friend, you're using that time to FaceTime your partner now. So you don't really talk to that person anymore. If it, for those that it is physical interaction, I think that, says its own and depends on whatever they had going on with their personal relationship. But I do think a lot of it definitely is involved in the fact that emotionally, most of the time, once someone gets in the relationship, their emotional relationship with their friends change because their focus is on someone else, which isn't, a terrible thing. It's just what happens. So I can understand why that is brought up. But I think it's important to just conversate and communicate and have healthy adult relationships with people.
Yeah, and understandings. Like, sometimes you don't need to really speak on it, like, to be honest. But when it comes down to that, when I'm not speaking to you at all, and it's like I'm texting you, you're not responding, but when all of a sudden you arguing with your man, you want to hit me up, you want to chill, you want to come over.
Yeah, that's different. I feel like that's different.
That's not happening.
At that point, girl, we was already on the cuff of not even being friends, and I don't hear from you. Or if I'm reaching out and I'm never getting a response, even as simple as a text back, come on now. Like, it's just not. So when that man does get on your nerves, phone no longer is open for you, babe.
I swear
it's no longer open for you. Moss says, I'm going to be the third wheel because I'm single and bored.
I know that's right.
Now we together. We together because I felt that.
I'm crying. Not single and bored.
Be bored. And then the third wheel always getting stuff thrown at them with situationships and relationship issues. Like, we don't want to hear that. Can we just vibe? Like, just vibe, Quinn.
I am not the mediator. I am a friend.
Right. Like, come on. Like, you just saw me getting a drink. Like, for example, like my brother, well, they probably don't do this, but I'm pretty sure this probably happens to other people. Like, for example, if I were to go and get a drink with my brother's girlfriend, we're not like, other way around. If I'm going to get a drink with my brother, and then I'm like, his girlfriend's like, oh, let's go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. And now we in the bathroom, she in the stall, and I'm waiting for her outside the stall. Girl, why he just had me? All right. Because this is what we're not going to do. This is what we're not going to do. Like, I came out here to have fun, and now I feel like
I don't want to be a part. I don't want to be a part.
Like, please don't. Please don't.
Most said, I'm here for dinner and drinks. I
swear. Definitely emphasis on the dinner and drinks, because I only came outside for one thing and one thing only.
I didn't come to be your therapist today.
Right.
Sure didn't.
I appreciate my peoples on here. Y'all is really on here talking, and we is just having a great time.
I'm like, I definitely should have told more people in advance that we were doing this. I found this out through DH's Instagram.
Mal said, I'm definitely not the relationship
We talked
doctor.
about this already.
Wait, okay, so yeah, let's talk about this on the pod, because what? We literally talked about this even when I called the group chat. I said, we'll just do the live tomorrow.
This is the reason why we're even
I don't think
on live.
maybe that's when I got off the car or something, because I don't remember you saying that.
She forgot, yo. It's okay. She forgot.
Okay, so what does a successful relationship look like to you?
I hate these relationship questions, man. They're like, not say they're too personal, but like they're too like unique.
It's
like every
specific,
relationship is different.
Yeah.
Like I see some very successful relationships that I know will never work for me.
Your ideal whatever, like your own. What do you mean? It's too different. How is a successful relationship different?
Because everyone can deem
everybody has a different version.
What is your one, two, individually? I'm not asking what everyone's thought is. What is your
one that works for me? It's not. I don't really. I guess having the same core values, being able to make space and understand each other outside of all of the other things going on in the world, but also like I have very specific things. Like you have to have goals and aspirations. I literally cannot be with a bum for a long period of time. Like even as a friend, like I just you have to be working towards something. It doesn't work for me if you're not. So hey Nike, I hear you.
I'm sorry guys, my dog always wants to make a feature. I just.
Yo, I'm crying. But no, I definitely feel you. It's like the term when people be like, oh, yeah, I helped you when you was down, but how long is like, I know everybody's times is different, but how long? Do you have a plan in place for you not to be down no more? That's the first question.
Oh, you're talking about, sorry, I was a little lost. You're talking about when a person that you're with is down bad and y'all are supporting each other through those times.
Right. Like you can be down bad. Like I'm gonna help my partner, but how long?
You got to be working towards something at the end of the day. Exactly. At least trying.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't got a plan, then what are like? And I think my help going to waste? Let me know now.
Yeah. Like, am I wasting my time?
Like, let me know. Because for some reason, I just keep doing that.
Yeah.
We getting too old to waste of time. I don't got a lot of time. I don't.
Oh, my gosh.
But what if, okay, so you already know I'm coming with the, okay, so what if your partner is on a new career path and it's one that is known for it to not be moving quickly? And so you really got to hold the fort down for a little minute. Like it may take him a good 2 to 3 years for him to even start seeing money that's able to contribute to household bills or maintain his own bills, whatever the case may be. Then what?
He's working towards something.
Exactly. That's
like that is the criteria.
But she said, but for how long? So that's why I'm asking.
As long as I know how long, like you said, about 2-3 years. If it's longer than that, as long as I can,
it could be longer. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right, but if I can afford it, then I'm fine with that. But if I can't, then we're gonna have to talk about something. Something got to be talked about. You might need to get another job or something because I can't.
What if it's his dream? What if this is his dream and he's got the open door? He just got to work his way up.
She said side hustle, something.
That's what I'm saying. At least a side hustle to do something.
You know, like just playing
little things matter. Little things matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I can afford it, then okay.
I feel like open communication is the most important part for something like that, because say those 2 to 3 years come up and have passed, but now we're at the 2 to 3 year mark and then we're still not making progress. What are we doing? You know, like that's your updated conversation, or as you're progressing through your relationship, that's the conversation that you have with your partner. As you know, if the plans have to change, then that go back to the drawing board, start over, readjust the plan for what is needed. But I can understand you saying like picking up a little side hustle, side job just to contribute something if need be, for sure. Because if it is 2 to 3 years and your gig isn't the gig is up, it's not hitting yet, still maybe it is time for you to pick up another skill so that way we can maintain you still working through what you're trying to get through, but also handle what we got to handle. So I can understand that, but communication I feel like is really important.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that, because if you're not communicating with me, then don't be mad when I'm starting to question what's going on with your job. Like, what are we doing? What are you doing? Because I feel like for me, like, if I was a guy, I wouldn't even feel comfortable with having the female paying all the bills and I'm just sitting there not doing nothing, but for paying all the bills, and I'm not at least thought of it myself to even pick up a side hustle to at least help my woman out. Like, if you feel comfortable to even do that, then I mean, that's different. Like, that's whatever you and your girl got going on. But for me, like, I feel like I shouldn't
be in my house. Okay,
right.
I feel
for
like
me in my house, my man needs to be a provider. That's what she's saying. That's important to her in a relationship. Okay, that's the moral of the story.
That deems success, right?
Right. So your successful relationship is that your partner is providing for you.
Or is a provider, trying to
I can provide for myself. Yeah.
Okay.
I can provide. I just don't like where I feel like, I mean, I could throw out a suggestion, but I feel like that should be something a guy would be like, you know what? I want to pick up a side hustle because I don't want her to feel like she's taking on so much weight compared as.
So just having a partner who's considerate of you just in all ways is really what
exactly. Especially when he's in that situation.
Nike said all of them need to be like that.
It's his dad's fault because his dad just walked over here knowing how his child is, and now he's rallying. Anyway, continue. Crying. Sorry about that.
I'm not editing this episode. Y'all gotta edit this with this craziness.
This is an unedited.
Yeah, it's gonna be posted how it's posted.
Real raw. I said on Instagram
Amani, I was gonna let you rock. But a what?
She was trying.
I had to jump in. I literally.
But it's the fact that she decided to just stop saying
I jumped in on purpose
because
that's what really got
something. And there was no reason for me to even continue.
I get it. It'd be like that.
Yeah. Y'all are hilarious.
Do we have any more questions on in your comment section, guys?
No, my listeners are enjoying our conversation because they're real silent outside of laughing and agreeing.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh my goodness,
this was fun.
Yes, I agree.
This was fun.
All right, so
what are we doing this again?
Wait, let us close out this episode on the. Oh, what's the topic? So we are talking about control versus standards within a relationship. Things that basically shows that a person is being controlling with you compared to setting a bar or standard on how they would like you to act or move. That's kind of the vibe of the topic. So some of the questions, you know what? I don't even know what we talked about because I feel like we just talked about a lot.
It was so much. Are we closing out on here and then continue?
Yeah, we could continue on. We could continue on live. All right, guys. So that was another episode of the Group Chat Calling podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Those that tuned into our live today, thank you so much for joining. We had such a great time answering questions, commenting, having different opinions. Join. I'm so sorry. Put your freaking self on mute. What the flip? Guys, wait, I'm trying to close out the episode on our recording and she has the nerve to cough like a grown man. What the flip? And I'm not saying that again. Thank you for joining. Catch you next week on the Group Chat Calling podcast. Love you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Love you. Bye.
Please.
Thanks for hanging with us on Group Chat Calling. Ready to make it official? Join the group and be a part of the convo every Wednesday. Hit that follow button so you never miss a call. Catch you next week.